Hello, I'm OG, and welcome to Speaking of Everything. Well, after 40 plus years, finally, he's on Speaking of Everything. And I want to welcome my good friend, Mr. Michael Cleaver. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine, Oral, and thank you for having me. And hello to your viewers and your listeners. And it's nice to be here after 40 years.
Right. So it's good to, how are things going with you? How are you doing these days?
Doing just great. A lot of work, a lot of excitement. We've had some hurricane scares. We just got over a disabled aircraft on the runway. Really hit the ground running, and it's been very exciting, and it's a new job, new position, but I'm very, very pleased with what we're doing.
Well, you're currently the new CEO of the Juliana International Airport, but you've done a lot in aviation. For people who don't know, you started off at American Airlines, right?
Yes, I started my aviation career in San Juan. I worked in several cities in North America and South America and throughout the Caribbean. I joined Win Air just after 10-10-10. I worked there for 12 years, 12 very happy years, and now I'm starting a new chapter, still in the industry, but on a different side at Princess Juliana.
Right. You know, it's amazing you said 12 years. That 12 years went really fast.
Oh, gee, it went so fast. I remember the day I walked into Win Air, I said, well, what do I do? And it was very exciting. And then after about 10 minutes, people started coming to see me, and I figured out what I had to do really quickly. There was a lot of things that we had to address, and the people at Win Air were great. Looking back at it, it was exciting, it was fun, and not many people get the experience of getting to run an airline in the Caribbean. I mean, it's like everybody's dream to do that. And I actually did it for 12 years with a lot of support from people in St. Martin, the customers, the employees. I'm very, very happy with it. And it's a great little airline. It's not so little anymore, but it's done very well, and it was exciting. Jobs I've had previously, although I was of a relatively high rank in the organization and in the company, I wasn't the final voice on everything. At Win Air, between myself and the board and the management team and the employees, we were everything. We had to fix the planes. We had to do the schedules. We had to try to figure out where we were going to fly, what we were going to do, all while making a profit. So it was a real big challenge, and it turned out very well.
Well, you brought the airline from the brink of bankruptcy to being a solvent company.
Yes, not me alone though.
But you was the head,
Well, I was, but
if it failed, it would be you.
If it failed, yes, I would have been, how they say that, the goat or whatever. But I had some real good help. And to be very not honest and not being immodest, yes, I worked very hard to make it happen. But I had a chief financial officer, Mr. Gibbs. I had Mr. Bunkamper. I had Mr. Hodge. I had the makings of a good team. It was just coordinating the activity to make it work. And we did.
Which is important. You need that team to coordinate things.
Of course, definitely. Without the support, one person, you can't do it all. You need a team.
Yeah. In case you just joined us, I'm Oral Gibbs here, and speaking of everything on YouTube, Facebook, and on Hot 99.9 FM radio, my guest on the program is Mr. Michael Cleaver. Mr. Cleaver is the current CEO of the Juliana International Airport. You hit the ground running when you started at airport, Juliana International Airport. How many months now?
Just over 3 months now, OG.
Just 3 months.
Just 3 months, and it's very exciting. It's a big organization. It's a big responsibility. Because the airport is arguably one of the most important companies in the country.
Right.
We have to provide service. We want to welcome people. We want to make sure that the processes are in place and that there's some ease of use of the airport, because airports are not fun places anymore. They've changed a lot since 10-10-10. And since September 11th, there's a lot of pressure on airports. So we're trying to, it's a serious business, but we're trying to make it easier for people. And that's the goal, because we want people to come through our airport and say, my God, that airport in St. Martin is very good. It's efficient. The people are friendly. We are there to provide service. And what we do is critically important for the country. And we talk about that every day.
Yeah. You just recently had quite an incident at the airport, which turned out to be good in a way, because it could have been bad. But I think what happened and how quick the people at the airport was able to clear the runway, I think is remarkable.
Yes, I am very, very proud of the response from the team. Our firefighting department was on scene and operating within 2 minutes, which is fast, and it is fantastic. Our operations team was there. The response, I was looking around, I was about to sit down for lunch on Sunday, and of course, we have an alarm system, so I was notified immediately, so came to the airport, and I looked around at my team, and there was many people in jeans and T-shirts and safety vests just working. That's dedication. The people were on their days off, and they came in, and that's management and employees. Everybody who worked there came to assist in manage the process of the collapsed landing gear. But we also had a terminal full of people. The air traffic controllers, they've got flights coming in, they can't land. It was a very difficult situation for sure, but the people that we have, no matter where you worked in the airport on Sunday and Monday, they really shone, and I couldn't be more proud of them. They responded well, they did the right things. The ingenuity of our people, because, hey, we don't have cranes standing by to lift an airplane. We don't have, but the ingenuity and the way that we attacked the problem, I learned a whole lot of things just being there watching some of my people. But the response from our people was they all got up and said, I got to go to work. There's something going on there. And, I'm beaming with pride to be able to lead that team.
What can you share with my audience about the WestJet incident? I know the investigation is still going on, but what can you share with us about that whole incident?
Well, the incident was most unfortunate, and you're right. The investigative teams are there, and we are so pleased. The best thing I can share was there was no fatalities. No one was hurt, which was a fantastic thing. But the cohesion in the team that went together, and not just Princess Juliana people. I'm talking about the support and contract teams that they have, JoJo's equipment. I don't like to mention people because I forget them, but I forget to mention one or two, and then people feel slighted. But the mechanics that, Jose Darmoir has a little company that provides maintenance to WestJet, Juliana Airport handlers, JoJo's heavy equipment. These people came to our 8 Windward Roads. They were phoning me saying, do you need equipment? How can I help you? It got not so bad. I had to stop answering my phone because people were phoning me offering support to help with the operation. But I think the biggest takeaway is we thank God no one was seriously hurt and there was no fatalities. And the way which St. Martin people have always done this, I've noticed when there's a hurricane, when there's a challenge, when there's an adversity, we stick together as a people, and whatever we need to do to help, they do. And St. Martin people do that better than any place else I've ever lived.
So I understand the whole team is here from Canada for WestJet, and Canada will lead the investigation on that whole incident?
Yes, there is a team from the National Transport Safety Board of Canada. There is representatives of the Dutch Safety Board. There is, of course, representatives from the Pilots Union and the Flight Attendants Union. We have provided office space at the airport for them so that they can work uninterrupted, and then they will conduct their investigation, privately and amongst them, and then it will take a while for them to get conclusion as to what happened. So we're just not speculating on anything. And I met with them yesterday and told them how happy I was that they were here. And we're transitioning to getting back to running the best airport in the Caribbean. And we love WestJet. We love planes that come here. But now it's time to get back to business.
And I think people don't have to be concerned about flying with WestJet.
Absolutely
These things
not.
happen, right? Yeah.
Absolutely not. Planes are machines, and they break. Sometimes they break very badly. Sometimes they don't. But at this point, I would not hesitate to fly on WestJet tomorrow or any North American, what I call legacy carriers. The American Airlines, Deltas, Uniteds, Air France, KLM. These are people who care and maintain their airplanes, and things do happen from time to time. And then we'll know the results and go from there. But do I think WestJet is unsafe? Absolutely not. They're fine.
So it will take quite some time before that aircraft is repaired and flown out of St. Martin, right?
Well, I was talking to Mr. Darmoir, and of course, quite some parts have to be flown in to fix the aircraft. So once they've done the assessment of what they need to fix it, it'll be ferried, which means flown out of St. Martin
Right.
without passengers and go to a maintenance repair base where permanent repairs will be done. But the plane is fixable. There's really no structural damage.
Okay.
There's a landing gear and some other pieces that need replacement.
So the wing is pretty okay.
The wing may have to be replaced, but they can fly that down. They would charter an aircraft with a freighter and bring in the parts and what we call a go team to fix the airplane, to make it airworthy, to ferry it either back to Canada or a maintenance repair base, and they'll bring in specialists to do that. It'll fly out of here.
Okay. In case you just joined us, I'm Earl Gibbs here and speaking of everything with Mr. Michael Cleaver. Mr. Cleaver is the Chief Executive Officer of the Princess Juliana International Airport. When we come back, we'll continue with him right here on Speaking of Everything. Please stay with us.
We are vibrant, expressive, warm, and diverse. Together, we conquer, and now we expand into new horizons, giving you more of the best. Introducing our new Banco Matico Plus with wider acceptance, purchase protection, and enhanced security. Whether you're online, traveling, or in paradise, experience more with Windward Island Bank. Banco Matico Plus. More of the best.
My guest with me here and speaking of everything is Mr. Michael Cleaver. He is Chief Executive Officer of the Juliana International Airport, and it's good to have him here with us on Speaking of Everything after all these years. This gentleman for a very, very long time. You're a people person. I've seen you work with people. I remember the first time that I can recall calling you, and I didn't know at the time, who you were. American Airlines had to go to Miami. There was a problem, and they said to me, well, we can't honor your tickets because it passed the date to fly. And my whole family was with me. So I was really upset, And you said, no problem, man. We'll still honor the ticket, although it was for a different time. And I never forgot that. From that time on, we became friends. You remember that?
I do remember. It's a good thing I didn't say no, I wasn't going to honor the tickets. But I do believe that, I had a staff meeting the other day, and I told my team, my entire team, don't hesitate to make a decision. And if it's right for the customer and it's right for the company, go ahead and do it. Because there's so many things about blame and finger pointing and things like that. It's like you do something that maybe technically is different than what's the prescribed, but you win a customer for life. And you're right. I love working with people. It's I love to go out and mix it up. Every day I go out, I get out of my office, I call them my sanity walks. I walk through the airport, I talk to the merchants, I talk to the employees, and I learn something every day. And not the key to it, but I tell my managers, don't be afraid to talk to your people, because they're good people, and they have ideas, and they have questions, and they like it. But I do really enjoy working with people.
You know, and you've been here a very long time. I remember you told me a story about the harbor master.
Yes, it was. I was when I first came back to St. Martin with American Airlines. I was in my office and I heard my secretary in those days saying, "No, this is the airport. This isn't the harbor." She thought someone was calling the harbor, but they called the airport by mistake. So I told her, I said, I better take that call. And I took the call, and of course, it was Claude Watty. And he knew me as the harbor master because I used to work for the DeHer family at Great Bay Marina. I would collect the rents and read the water meters and the bills and help him move his boat and things. So he always called me. He never called me Michael or Cleaver. It was the harbor master. So I knew it was him. And it was kind of a funny story. And then when I told her, I said, that was Claude Watty. And she was like, oh, my God, I think I was rude to him. I said, no, you weren't rude to him. Don't worry about it.
So now that you're at the airport harbor, I call it, because the airport is the entrance, just like the harbor, St. Martin, very crucial entrance to St. Martin. And the airport industry is changing a lot. I was speaking to someone the other day. They said they're like 75, and they said, I'm not going to fly anymore because it's too stressful, flying, etc. I mentioned earlier with you that, you can see how Juliana International Airport has changed. You open it up, you've had a night for the people of St. Martin to come and see the airport and shop and so forth. Is that going to continue, or is that just a one-time thing?
No, absolutely, it's going to continue. In fact, we were doing some event planning with my marketing team and the managers. We really feel strongly that this is the people's airport, and we want to encourage people to come to the airport. We're I think one of the biggest buildings in St. Martin, so we're planning more shopping nights. We're planning to show movies for kids in the airport. We're planning a big Christmas show. We're just in the event planning, but our not our motto, but our emphasis is going to be on outreach to the community and work on things for the senior and the people who don't fly, so that they can come to the airport, because we're real proud of what we do, and it's a beautiful building. And if you don't fly, well, then what's it all for? But we're trying to bring purpose and meaning and inviting the public of St. Martin to, in effect, their own home that they have not been to, and the reception has been extremely positive.
And it gives them that sense of pride to see how
It is, I'm a little biased. It's the nicest airport in the Caribbean, for sure. And people do take pride when they go and see how beautiful it is and what's going on. And everybody in St. Martin is related, one way or another. So when we invite the seniors or the foster kids or open it up to the public, it's like they're seeing their family, and that indeed, it's their cousins, it's their brother-in-laws, it's their wife's family. So it becomes like an open event, which is very popular, but it becomes like a family reunion because, as you know, OG, everybody is related here.
Oh, yeah. And that's why I think the incident that happened with you was unfortunate with that letter that went out. But it's all fixed now, right?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It's all regulated, and we will work with the government of St. Martin to make sure we do the right thing.
Right.
I think I really don't want to get into the whole thing, but we failed to communicate and we misunderstood each other, and that's unfortunate. But it has since been corrected and regulated, and I had a staff meeting the other day, and there was some concern about it, but we were able to. And of course, with the stakeholders, because a lot of they could be affected, so everybody's okay.
And that's good. Once that is settled, you move on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Exactly. And we settled it, as quickly as we could, like immediately that night. So it was, a misstep, but was corrected.
You have some plans for the airport you want to share with us? The FBO, what's happening?
Yes, the FBO is scheduled to open our part in the FBO, and it's beautiful. We're going to have an open house for the public of St. Martin and for the stakeholders. We're hoping to have that in a few weeks. It'll be turned over to Signature and Execujet to finish out their part. We are finishing the public parts, the reception areas, customs, immigration, supplying it with equipment. It is going to be beautiful. And we're very, very proud of it because since COVID and the hurricanes, we were operating at, let's call it, very stressed conditions, not in a proper building to attract that type of client. Because St. Martin is based on, yes, we need the tourists, but yes, we also like the fact that the corporate jets come, the private aviation come, because that's also a very important part of our economy, and it fits in nicely, and we will be very proud. Trust me, you will be there, and you'll be very impressed with the offering that we will now be provided. Working, of course, with the Ministry of Justice on immigration, because we have to process those people, so we have to find unique ways of doing it. But that's coming online. We're working on some different processes to check people in at the airport, and we're working much closer with stakeholders, the airlines and the handlers that work at Princess Juliana. They come and see me, I come and see them. We're having formal meetings. We're seeing where we can collaborate to make things better, and also the businesses that are in our airport. We have great bakeries. We have a good selection of food and beverage. We have some interesting options on electronics and perfumes. Right, yeah. It's, and I can't take credit for that. That was done before I got there. But the opening of these stores they are excellent service providers to the users of the airport.
So all those units are occupied?
Just about. We have a few left, which we expect to put on the market. We're going to put a little kiosk sales thing and do that. And then basically they're all rented out. But we're also doing things like on Saturdays, we're bringing little dogs into the airport.
Well, that's nice.
And and we're taking them to the gates because some people are uncomfortable with flying. They're nervous. Right. And dogs are therapeutic. So they're friendly dogs. They don't bite. So little kids, the reception of that has been great. They pet the little doggies and they feel good. The mommies feel good. We're trying to make it, the airport's stressful. It is. Yeah. It's a stressful experience. But we want to make it as pleasant as we can and tie the experience to the experience of St. Martin, which is, kind of relaxed and nice and let's have a good time. It's a very serious business, but anything we can introduce to make the process easier and more relaxing to the people, that's the direction we're going in.
And that's good, because when you get to the airport, before you had to take off your shoes, now you don't have to take off your shoes, right?
That's correct, and you don't have to take your computers out of your bag. They can all go in. We have the technology at our airport is definitely, we are the leader in the Caribbean. We have electronic gates. We have self-service devices. You can enter St. Martin and leave St. Martin without seeing an immigration officer. And we really have automated the processes to where it takes a lot of the stress out of. We're still fine-tuning some of those things, but it's we want it to be a more pleasant experience for people coming and going, and that's the goal.
That's good. There's a U.S. carrier that's going to be coming here soon, flying from Orlando, I understand?
Yes. And Baltimore. There will be 9 flights a week. We're very excited. A new airline offering service to St. Martin.
You can call the name.
Southwest. Yes, it's publicly announced. And, some people were like, well, Southwest is a budget carrier. Is that? I said, no, when I explained it to people, it's a company with 800 jets, and they are the largest domestic carrier in the United States. We're very excited. We're working with them. Their business people are coming down, in fact, next week to select ground handlers and that. They've signed contracts, so they're definitely coming. Frontier is coming with an extra flight on Saturdays from Atlanta. Contour Airlines is coming hopefully in December to pick up the San Juan route, because right now there's a void. Frontier canceled their San Juan flight, so you have to go through to San Juan through Anguilla or St. Kitts but there'll be direct service starting in December on Contour with a regional jet
From St. Martin to San Juan.
from St. Martin to San Juan and back. So we're very happy with the growth in our customer base and the new airlines coming to St. Martin. I think it's it's a testament, because when airlines come to see what is about St. Martin. Of course, we take them to the beaches and we take them out and they see the dinners and all the nice things St. Martin's, but they really look at the airport. Is it safe? Are the people friendly? What's the experience like? It's a vote of confidence for them to come to St. Martin, because they believe in St. Martin and they believe in the airport. So we're very proud of that. And the growth numbers, the growth at Princess Juliana is looking still. It never grows enough, never grows fast, but we are growing, and we are an ongoing concern, and we're very proud of that.
I guess you over 500,000 arrivals by now? Or?
We're approaching 1 million. 500,000 arrivals, but 1 million passengers.
By the end of the year.
We have passed the best year. The best year for Princess Juliana was 2016. That's how we benchmark what we do.
Yeah.
We have surpassed all of that. So I said, forget about 2016. We're on to a new mark, and we have surpassed all numbers. And this will be the busiest season in the history of Princess Juliana.
Wow, that's good news.
Very good news. Very good news.
You're watching or you're listening to Speaking of Everything. My guest is Mr. Michael Cleaver. He's Chief Executive Officer of the Juliana International Airport, and he's here speaking with us. The European market, we have KLM, Air France, the same in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Anything other than the UK in the near future that
we're working with carriers in Europe, but with code shares and things that go on these days, not that it's of course, Air France because of the French influence,
right.
And of course KLM. KLM's going up to 5 flights a week. Air France will offer 2 daily flights, 1 to Paris, 1 to Orly in the season. Air Caribe is coming back with 3 flights into St. Martin, but it's the English people and the German people, many European countries, they have code share agreements. So they'll fly passengers to the States and then fly them through the States, maybe on a later ticket. So it's historically and culturally, of course, we have the French market, very strong. The Dutch market is historically been strong. Attracting a UK-based carrier or an Italian, it's something we continue to work on with the tourist board and our partners. But it's been a little elusive.
I can imagine. I flew in from Antigua one night, and there were some passengers on Winair, and they were coming to St. Martin, but they came from the UK to Antigua and then had to take Winair to St. Martin.
Yes, that's a lot of that happens, and thank God for that, because Winair has code-share agreements and interline agreements with a lot of European carriers, so they go. The European carrier will take them to the point where they go, and then Winair picks them up and brings them there. So although we don't have direct service, St. Martin is accessible for them. So that's a very good thing.
All right. So there's no room for that airport to expand right now. I know there were plans years ago, but that's off the table now?
Well, we're right now we're working to see what the airport does. We're making some changes in in the connecting gate area, because our role as a regional connecting airport is very important. So we have to make that process as seamless as we possibly can. So we're investing in more equipment to virtually double the size of the connecting portal, which goes into the departure gates. But we are looking at different areas, because the land is what it is.
Right.
We are looking to see if we can do a public-private thing on perhaps more parking for jets. It's always on our mind, and we're looking at it, but we're also looking at things like, you can imagine the GB bill at the airport. What are sustainable ways to try to find solutions on these things while still having the air conditioning on and still having the airport being comfortable? But the piece of land we have there is very busy, and we're always looking to see where we can squeeze more facilities in. But I will admit the challenge is difficult. But we have to be creative, and we're working on some new ideas and things to do. I've talked to the board about it, and got the go-ahead to proceed and look at things. And we continue to look and see what's viable, along with, of course, the shareholders, which is the government. But we do a great job. The airport does a great job with the limited resources they have, and the biggest resource we have is land.
Yeah. So I know you've just been there for three months, but have they said anything to you about pre-clearance? Is that off the table, or anyone talking about that?
Well, it's not off the table. It remains on the table. There's pros and cons to pre-clearance. The facility, you need to have much more facility than what we have. That being said, yes, it does attract people. It's very expensive. The U.S. immigration officers are, in fact, diplomats with immunity here, so there's legislation that needs to go on it. There's facilities that need to be done. I'm not ruling it out. It needs further study for us to understand what is it we need to do, what's the cost to the passenger. On the other hand, there is technology, this mobile passport thing when you go to the States with the internet. I have global entry, I signed up for it, but my wife goes through using this mobile passport and she beats me into the country with it. So they have, U.S. Customs and Border Protection has introduced some very good technology to get people into the States faster. So we continue to look at it and see what ultimately will be the benefits. We know the cost. We have to do a better analysis as to, do we go for it? Do we not? What do we need to do?
Okay. So now that you're at the airport and you've spent most of your life at that airport, Juliana International Airport, what surprised you now that you're CEO of the airport?
What surprises me is the beauty of the building and the where we've come to, because I started working at the airport in the old building, and the facilities we have are like a dream from those days, but it hasn't lost. We're putting the charm back in it, and we realize that it doesn't surprise me. After COVID and after the hurricanes, it is not only Princess Juliana, many companies lost their way with their employees. We're working very hard to get that feeling back. Dr. Holliday said it the best way. Employees equals PJIAE. PJIAE equals employees. And that's what where we're going back to. But it's not only Princess Juliana. Many companies here didn't lose their identity, but it was a tough time. So we need to rebuild things. We need to redo things. And the relationship with our employees is paramount because their wants and needs are virtually the same as ours. So we need to go back and look at that, as do all businesses in St. Martin. So that's but the beauty of the building, I remember the old building working on a keyboard. The air conditioning didn't work. Sweat balls would be going into the keyboard and, running around like crazy, yelling down a hall because the intercom didn't work. And the not big surprise, but it's a new building. And so, not that it has a lot of defects, but things break. And we have to call to get parts, and we have to work on things. And, we're working at being, I think green is the wrong word, but we want to be sustainable. So we want to put in a new water plant, which is important. We need to we're doing now the non-sexy work, like the beautiful building is nice, everybody sees that. But now it's the things that people don't see. It's the preventive maintenance. Princess Juliana is safe, so I don't want anyone to worry about it. But now we need to go and invest money in the long term to redo the runways. They're at not the end, but they're aging. The water purification plant is aging. So we want to expand it and build a new one because we consume a lot of water, and we need to clean a lot of water because a lot of water is produced. It needs to be cleaned and then put back into the lagoon. So there's a lot of behind-the-scenes work that we have a plan for the next 12 years of work that people don't necessarily see, but it must be done.
Well, I want to thank you for coming in and speaking with me. I want to wish you much success. You also and your grandpa, so congrats on that also. It's been a good year for you, man.
It's been a great year for me, and I say thank you for the opportunity. It's we should have done this 40 years ago.
Well, we do it again sometime. All right?
We definitely will.
Good.
And I say thank you.
And this is Mr. Michael Cleaver, CEO of the Juliana International Airport. And just to let you know, no promotional consideration was provided by the International Airport of St. Martin, which is Juliana International Airport. He's smiling, but that's a fact. I'll see you next time right here on Speaking of Everything on YouTube, Facebook, and on Hot 99.9 FM radio station. Take care. Bye.